What's up, you guys? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day. Today we have this update slash operation on this little guy. This is I think it was the first desert rose that was featured in the channel. Maybe after a couple of months with this little guy, I also created another video where I started working on a different desert roses bonsai. But you can see that this one is still round and it's doing quite well. A couple of things that happen, but in general, I think it's getting closer and closer to being finished. To moving it to a bonsai pot, a finished bonsai. Uh, I said before that there are no finished bonsai, but consider it like an official, or we could say like a true bonsai, like with a ceramic pot and combining it with the ceramics and whatnot. So yeah, so that's what I mean. So today we have a very simple operation. You can see that it's growing in this tiny colander, but the substrate, for one reason or another, it's kind of low now. I think this was close to a water pipe, and it rained one of these days, and I think most of the substrate was washed out of the little colander. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just gonna replenish that soil. I'm going to be very careful to leave like a good level of soil so that the roots can continue to grow, but just enough so that we don't get any root rot or any other problems like that. I could do a little bit of combing of the roots, but with Adenium bonsai, desert rose bonsai, it's kind of difficult, because they're so easy to cut and work with. But I don't know. I don't think this is considered as wood. These aren't woody plants. These are more like succulents. So any cut that you make, water is going to come out, and you got to wait a couple of days for it to dry out before you do anything else to it. So yeah, I think the roots are slowly going to be modeled and slowly going to be pruned so that we have a pleasant looking bonsai. But yeah, this is not your typical species that you work with. No juniper, no pine. This is a bit different, right? So anyway, let's do that. And we're also going to work with this little guy that we have here. This is a grafting experiment. Um, yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of moments. Yeah. So first, let's put some soil in this little colander. So here we go. So here we can see the root mass. Sorry about my neighbor's dog. Little dog is barking away, so sorry about that. Anyway, so the root mass is here. I only prune these few roots that we have there. These were growing directly downwards into the soil, so we want lateral roots. So that's why I kept most of it intact. You can see them here. And now I made a little mound in the middle. Gonna firmly place it in place. And now it's just a matter of me coming in with nice bonsai soil. This is zeolite, and just you know filling the sides. That's gonna be it for this little guy. I'm gonna pause the video because that dog is so annoying. And the craziest thing is that this is my neighbor to the left, I think. My neighbor to the right has got an even bigger and louder dog, so it's crazy. Anyway, so point for cat keepers, cat people. We're also expecting a bit of rain any moment now, so I gotta work fast with this. That's gonna be it for this little guy, really. We just gotta make sure that it stays in place, and this is gonna be super vigorous in a couple of months, a couple of weeks actually, because we've experiencing rain. So that extra nitrogen does wonders for the plant. I'm also gonna weaken the sacrifice branch here a little bit, so it can elongate and elongate more and more. Yeah.
So, first one ready. Let's see the other one.
So this is the second one. You can see the beautiful flowers over here. This is not, the typical wild variety. The flowers are nice and purple and beautiful. So what I'm going to do with this one is do a little bit of pruning. I think this right here is going to be the sacrifice branch, but I want to start ramifying it. So I'm going to prune a little bit, and I think I'm going to leave this one untouched just so that it stays vigorous. Because, like I said, this is a graft, and yeah, you want to keep this as vigorous as possible. Otherwise, the plant is going to start producing shoots from this area, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to do that really, really quickly. Um, and it's kind of funny because I wasn't aware of this at all, but a subscriber told me a couple of months ago that Adenium is poisonous. You should be careful when working with it. Um, you should wear gloves if you know you're going to prune or touch the sap or whatever. So I got to be a bit more careful now. I've never had any problems with it, but just to be safe, stay safe out there. So that's it. I'm also going to weaken the main or sacrifice branch a little bit. And if you were a bit bummed out about me pruning the flowers, we got more flowers on the way, so I think it's going to be no problem. The next thing that I'm going to do, um, I know this lady that lives a couple of miles from my house, and she has an entire greenhouse, well, an entire, maybe we could say, nursery devoted to cultivating adenium plants. And she says that if you grow a plant from cutting, they're going to do this. They're going to grow very spindly and, you know, very thin. Whereas if you grow it from seed, sorry about that. Whereas if you grow it from seed, you get the nice radial base, the caudex, dead rosemaries. And so I don't know if that's entirely true. Maybe it is. She's the expert. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to prune the root base here, um, and see if I get more lateral roots, more of a wider base there. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to take it out of the pot and inspect what we got down there. So I'm going to do that, show you what it looks like, and maybe if we can prune like a big tuber base that sometimes they form down there, I'm going to have to wait a couple of days before I replant it, because like I said, you got to wait a couple of days for the cuts to dry out like this. Yeah, so I'm going to take it out, inspect the roots, and I'll show you what I find out. Yeah, so here we go. So just as I expected, um, we got these tubers growing at the base. That's not what we want. We want those radial roots that we got there. I'm pretty sure these are not roots. These are like storage that the plant has for dry weather. Let me pause the video. And so, yeah, we can do without those. Yeah, if the plant is vigorous because of the foliage, I think it can continue to grow, no problem. And more roots emerge from the cut sides of these. So I'm going to cut these, I'm going to prune them, and I'm only going to keep the radial roots. And we're going to call it a day. So here I go. Oof, oof, oof. So this is carnage at the moment. But look, this is exactly what we want. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen to this plant. It's not going to die. It's not even going to dry up these little flowers. Believe me, I did the exact same thing with this one. And you just wait a couple of days for the cuts to dry up or dry out, and yeah, then we plant it. If we plant it now, we run the risk of the plant having root rot, yeah, or rot in general. So that's not what we want. But yeah, then in a couple of days we're going to plant it like so, and maybe we can plant at an angle, and then it can really start developing as a bonsai tree from there. Yeah, and we'll get the benefit of these beautiful shades this beautiful flower color that we have here. So anyway, guys, this is it for today's video. I hope you continue to have a very good day. If you have, I'm gonna place this to the side. Oh, by the way, you got to keep this in a well lit spot, dry spot. If rain is coming, keep it inside. And yeah, in a couple of days, you'll see they're completely dried out. And yeah, that's when you plant. So I hope you continue to have a very good day. If you have any doubts, comments, questions, anything, drop them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.